my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Ordinary Matrixyl 10% plus hyaluronic acid, which is a water-based serum that can help with fine lines and wrinkles, and you can also use it daily in the morning and evening. Now, if you also want to include it in your skincare routine, you are going to apply it before any oils and creams. Now I'm going to show you step by step how you can also use Matrixyl, but also how you can do a proper patch test before you're going to apply it to your face to also avoid skin irritation. Now the way that you're going to do your patch test is basically also on your upper forearm area. And so before you're going to apply the product to your upper forearm area, please make sure that this area is also clean. So go ahead, use a bit of water and soap, wash the area and then rinse it again with water. And now take a fresh towel and pat the skin dry. And now that you also have washed the area and it's also now dry, you can also start with your patch test. Now using Matrixyl, since it's also a little bit more of a thicker texture, I recommend using a bit less than a drop. And since you can't get less than a drop because of the pipette, I also recommend using 1 drop on your fingertip, like this. Then take your other finger and just use a small amount of it, and then place it on the freshly washed and dry area. This way you're able to not use too much so that it's still able to also sink into the skin. And now you're going to leave the Matrixyl on your upper forearm area for 24 hours. Now it's going to also sink into the skin, but please, for those 24 hours, do not wash the area, keep the area dry, so that you also can see during those 24 hours if a skin irritation occurs. And so this is also where I recommend to also have a look at your skin throughout the time, like throughout the patch test, so that you also can see what's going to happen. And then after the 24 hours have passed, you're just going to rinse the area with water. There's no need to use a cleanser or soap to wash the area, water is enough. And then again, take your towel and pat the skin dry. Now, if you can see that the skin irritation happened during the patch test, during those 24 hours, please do not use it on your face. If nothing happens, if you can't see skin irritation, then you're also fine to also use it on your face. So once the patch test is done, you can also start using it. Now I'm also going to show you now step by step how you can also use it and also include it in your little routine so that you also know when you also should include it. And so for the first step, I always recommend also washing your face with a suitable cleanser for your skin type. Now, since we're using Matrixyl, it's important that your cleanser doesn't include any high percentage of like AHA or BHA, such as glycolic acid, lactic acid, or salicylic acid, as well as no pure forms of vitamin C. This is also really important to keep in mind when also using Matrixyl. And so I'm going to use the Ordinary Squalane cleanser, which is also great for all skin types. If you're using a different cleanser, please also make sure to read the directions on how you should use it so that you can also properly wash your face the correct way, also depending on the cleanser you choose. So with this one, I also have to use a small amount, apply it on my dry skin and then wash it with water. So, and after you have massaged the cleanser onto your skin and you also have to remove it with water, then you now can also rinse it off with water. Now if you like to, you can also take a fresh cloth in between which you're going to wet, as this can also help you to get most of your cleanser off, and then also rinse it with water and then pat the skin dry. And now take a fresh towel and pat the skin dry. So, and now you can also immediately move on to the next product application. There's no need to wait in between. Since you also have pat the skin dry, you can also move on to your next step. Now your next step can be optional. I'm going to still show it to you so that in case you also want to use a toner, you also know how you can use it and also what you have to be careful of before also using Matrixyl on your face. Now, if you're going to include a toner, if you have one at home, please make sure that you're also using a toner that doesn't include any hydroxy acids such as AHA and BHA, like high percentage of it, as well as pure forms of vitamin C. Again, similar to the cleanser, it's really important to note. So go for a cleanser that's very hydrating, that's like a liquid moisturizer for the skin that also feels very soothing and calming on the skin. Now, if you want to use your toner, this would be now your second step. You're going to apply it before you're going to use Matrixyl. If you don't have a toner at home, you can skip this step and directly move on to Matrixyl. Now, to apply the toner, use a fresh cotton pad and then dispense some product onto the cotton pad and then gently sweep it across your face and neck area. Now, a toner is also great if you still have some leftovers on your face, as it's also going to help you to remove any leftovers or maybe also bits of your cleanser, so that you still have a freshly washed face, as well as also a soothing, moisturizing and also refreshing face. So, and after you're done with the toner application, you can immediately move on to the next product, which is also in this case using the Ordinary Matrixyl 10% plus hyaluronic acid. Now again, with this one, since the texture is a little bit thicker, I recommend using between, let's say, 2 to 3 drops. Of course, if you still want to use a few drops more, then that's totally fine. Make sure to also find the right balance and also make sure that you're not using too much. So it still should be able to also sink into the skin, to also be able to fully absorb from the skin, so that you also won't have any leftovers on the skin that are just sitting on top. Now I'm going to stick with 2 drops, which is just fine for my entire face and neck area. And with this one, you can also bring it towards the eye area. Just please make sure to not get anything into the eye. Just avoid in general getting too close to the eye area. But you still can also use it on this part right here. Now I prefer to also use a few drops in the palm of my hand, then rub them together and then also start patting it into the skin. If you feel like that it's going to absorb too much into your hands when also using this method, then you're also totally fine to also just directly use a few drops on your face and then apply it all over. Whatever method works the best for you, as long as you're able to also apply it basically evenly all over your face and neck area. And you also will notice the right amount of product when also patting it into the skin, and you can also feel and also notice that it's already going to sink into the skin while patting it into the skin. This is kind of the right amount that you also should use. If you have to pat too long and you can't really get it to sink into the skin, please also try to use less to also find the right amount for your face and neck area. Now after you have applied Matrixyl, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now you can stop right here. That's basically it. Keep it very simple. Either just cleanse your face, use a toner in between, or use Matrixyl afterwards, or skip the toner, just use cleanser and Matrixyl. That's fine too. However, if you still also want to include it in your routine, which is for sure not wrong, this depends on your skin and also how your skin feels, you can also add an oil and moisturizer afterwards. Or just use the moisturizer in the morning and the oil in the evening, or use those two together. Whatever you prefer, you can also use it afterwards. Just make sure that you're going to start off with Matrixyl, since it's a water-based serum, and then you're going to move on to your oils or moisturizer, depending also on what you prefer. Now I'm going to stick with the moisturizer. When using an oil, again, use between 1 to 3 drops for the entire face and neck area. For the moisturizer, use a pea-sized amount. And then gently apply it all over your face and neck area. So, and this is already it. Again, with your oil and moisturizer, leave it on the skin. Now, one thing I want to mention, which is really important, not because Matrixyl doesn't make your skin sensitive to the sun, that's not the case, but still, when being exposed to the sun for like a longer period of time where you can also get sunburned, I recommend using as your last step also sunscreen to also protect the skin from getting sunburned. Of course, if you're staying at home or like being in the shadow all day long, that's fine too. But I just want to mention it that if you want to use your sunscreen when being exposed to the sun, it's your last step. And also, this is basically what I wanted to share with you. I also want to mention one more thing, which is also really important. So now that you know how you can do the patch test, as well as also how you can apply it to your face, you may also wonder why I did mention be careful with the direct acids, such as like AHA or BHA, as well as also with pure forms of vitamin C. Well, those are also the conflicts, basically the products or the ingredients that shouldn't be used with Matrixyl. And here you can also see the list from the Ordinary products, which are the pure forms of vitamin C, as well as also the direct acids. So please do not use, when using Matrixyl, any of those products in the same routine, nor mix them. If you want to use any of those products that are on the list right now, then I recommend using them at separate times, so that you also will get the best out of it and also get the most like benefits out of the product, so that you can also use them correctly and also won't come across any like negative benefits, that it's not going to work, or any cross reactivity, etc. So please keep those conflicts in mind, as well as the products from the Ordinary list, so that you also will have the best experience possible. And so now that you also know how you can use it, what the conflicts are, you can also now go ahead and also introduce it into your skincare routine. I do hope that I could help you, that you also now know how you can use the Ordinary Matrixyl. And if you like this video, don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share it. And I will see you soon in the next one. Bye!